Good morning, my dear students. Let us continue the connecting the dots. My second story is about love and loss. I found what I loved to do early in life, and I started Apple when I was 20. In 10 years, Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into 2 billion company, and then I got fired. It was devastating. What is the second story of the author? That about love and loss, and I I found what I loved to early in life. Actually, the author wanted to do early in life, means just he was just 20 years old, and just he started the Apple, and and in 10 years Apple had grown from just the two of us in a garage into 2 billion company. And what happened? And then the author lost the job. The author got fired. Author lost the job, and it was devastating. It was causing the server shock. It was a shock for the author because he lost the job. But something slowly began to dawn on me. I still loved what I did, and so I decided to start over. But something slowly began to dawn on. Began to dawn on means began to become clear, and some things began to clear. The author, I still loved what I did, and so I decided to start over. What the author liked to do, just he decided to start over it. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again. It freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. The heaviness of being successful was replaced by the lightness of being a beginner again, and it freed me to enter one of the most creative periods of my life. What happened? The author having that being successful replaced the lightness of being beginner again, and just because of this thing, it freed him to enter one of the most creative periods of his life. Suppose maybe he was failure, but what happened? The failure given the new direction, and so the author entered one of the most creative periods of his life. During the next 5 years, I started another company named Fixer, and fell in love with amazing woman who would become my wife. What happened in the next 5 years? The author started the new company named Fixer, and what happened during this period? He fell in love with amazing woman, and who would become his life partner. Pixar is now the world's most successful animation studio, and Pixar became the topper in the world, and Pixar became the most successful animation studio. Apple bought Next. I returned to Apple and the technology we developed at Next. At Next is that the heart of Apple's current renaissance, and Lauren and I have a wonderful family together. Because the author returned to the Apple technology, and they developed at Next is that the heart of Apple's current renaissance, the Apple's revival, and Lauren and I have a wonderful family together, and Lauren means his wife, life partner, and he had a wonderful family together. Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Sometimes what happens in life hits you in the head with a brick means give a great shock suddenly. And what happened? Don't lose faith. When you became unsuccess, you became the failure. If the life gives you the shock suddenly, that time you don't lose your faith. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. And during this the your time is not good, that time you should continue what you like. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking, don't settle. If you found it yet, means what you want, you didn't get it, then you should not stop, you should not discontinue, and keep looking forward, and don't settle. You don't stop there. And the author says, my third story. The author says about his third story about the death. About a year ago, I was diagnosed with a cancer. My doctor advised me to go home and get my affairs in order. But actually, what is the third story of the author? About the death. Because when he diagnosed, then what happened with the cancer? And his doctor advised him to go home and just to take a rest, which his doctor's code for prepare to die. I lived with that diagnosis all day. Actually, what did the doctor given the code for prepare to die? And with this thing, the author lived with that diagnosis all day. Later that evening, he had a biopsy. It turned out to be a very rare form of pancreatic cancer, and that is curable with surgery. And I had the surgery, and I am fine now. Because what happened? The next, he went to the doctor and he diagnosed. And what about the diagnosis? He that found the pancreatic cancer, and the pancreatic cancer is curable, and with the surgery. And then the other author had a surgery, and he had fine. Now he was fine. This was the closest I have been to facing death. And what was happening? It was shocking in his life. The cancer is not curable, but that cancer was curable of the author, and he had the surgery, and then he became happy because he got the life again. This was the closest I have been to facing death, and I hope it's the closest I get for a few more decades, having lived through it. And because that cancer was curable, and he had a surgery, and now he got the new life. And the author says, I got for a few more decades. For more decades, decades means 10 years. One decade means 10 years. Having lived through it, I can now say this to you: your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. No one knows what will happen in our life, and so the author got the life again, and that's why he suggests us, don't waste your time, because time is limited, and no one knows what will happen in our life. So that is why don't waste it living with someone else's life. Don't be trapped by a dogma which is living with the results of other people's thinking, and don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. Don't be trapped by dogma. Dogma means belief or set of beliefs held by a group or organization which others are expected to accept without argument. Don't be trapped by a dogma, because you don't waste your time in your argument. You should not argument with anyone, and you should not be trapped by dogma which is living with the results of other people's thinking. And don't let the noise of others' opinions, and drown out your own inner voice. What advice by the author? You should not waste your time, and you should not be trapped by dogma. Dogma means the belief or that are expected to accept without the argument. Don't let the noise of others' opinions. Drown out your own inner voice. Be louder than another. be louder than another sound. And most important, have the courage to follow your heart and institution. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. The most important, what is the most important? Have the courage to follow your heart. You should be courageous. You should be brave. And to follow your heart and institution. They somehow already know what you truly want to become. When I was young, there was an amazing publication called The Whole Earth Catalog. In the final issue, on the back cover, they put a photograph of an early morning country road. Beneath it were the words, "Stay hungry." You know what happened when he was young? The author, when he was young, he was an amazing publication. And what was the name of the publication? The Whole Earth Catalog. And on the back over the cover, they put a photograph of an early morning country road. Beneath it were the roads, "Stay hungry, stay foolish." Beneath it were the words. What were the words? "Stay hungry, stay foolish." It was their farewell message as they sign off. I have always wished that for myself, and now, as you graduate to begin anew means always keep, never think you know everything. I wish that for you, stay hungry, stay foolish. And what is the last suggestion of the author? That is means the stay hungry, stay foolish. Means don't waste up your time with argument to someone. And that is the end of the lesson. Thank you.